How you doing? My name is Jeff Ray, featured guest host here with Weld.com. On this episode, I'm going to be building a camera car mount for my boy Chris with Project Prime. He does a lot of work with Cletus McFarland at the Freedom Factory. So I'm going to show you the build process of this thing, and then I'm going to show you it in action. So let's get at it. All right, we're going to be making a camera mount off the back of this BMW for Chris at Project Prime. We're going to come from this opening within the bumper with some tubing that's going to go up to support his gimbal style camera. But first, we need to come off of the bumper bar frame rail right there with a piece of square tube that's going to stick out with a plate. That plate's going to allow us to bolt this fixture back here to support the camera. Got the bumper off the car now. Now we're going to go ahead and clean the spots up here where we're going to weld the square tubing to, and that's what our camera mount is going to bolt to, so this thing can be removable. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this prepped. This here prepped, this is what we're going to use, 3 inches long, and then put a plate on the end. So we're going to bevel this edge so that plate gets a real good weld on there. It's going to support a lot of weight. It's got to come down, out, and then up. So it's going to be using a lot of leverage. So we're going to beef up the back sides of this plate as well. We got a paint abrasive wheel here. We're going to go ahead and clean them up. So we're not just relying on this little MIG weld here. So we really got good structural support. Alright, we got both sides of these flanges welded out here. We use the boiler ER70S2 332 wire on here. That should do the job very well. We're going to go ahead and cut these old exhaust hangers off of here as well. Now we got to prep this surface on both sides and then prep our 3-inch square tube. So we got the root put in this one here. We got to go ahead and fill it out like we got over here. I already got this weld made. If you see, my rig doesn't get in here on the angle that I'd like. So I'm going to put this bent piece of tungsten in here to help us get in there. And then as well, if you look on the back side of this flange here, I cleaned up the paint off of there. I'm not going to rely on these baby MIG welds on the back side of this flange to support all of this. So I went ahead and cleaned that up, put some wire in there, help beef this thing up, get these last couple of welds made, and then we're going to get on to the tubular side of it and build the part that's actually going to support the camera, and it's going to bolt into here. So let's get at it. So I'm going to take you through making a coat just out of some cardboard templates I got here. We're going to be using a portaband and a grinder to do this. So I'm going to show you with simple tools and things laying around that you'll be able to make a template to be able to recreate this perfect fit every time. This job is going to consist of all 90-degree fits like this, so it's going to get utilized a dozen times on this. So we're going to make a nice good template, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. I made wrapped this around here, put some tape on it, and then you're going to get you a piece that we're going to coat to. I want this inside of the pipe here to lay against the weld so I can maximize the fill here. So I'm going to set this on top of the pipe and just look down from the top to where this edge aligns with that inside edge. And then from there, I'm going to mark around it and then that'll give me a template. I'll make this one cut, and then I'll show you how we're gonna fit this to there and then mirror it 180 on the other side so we get a square fit. All right, now I'm gonna take the 4.5 inch tiger claw I have here, and I'm gonna grind this inside bevel back to that line so I don't have this big old gap here. All right, we got that ground now. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide the template over here. I'm gonna make it flush with the end there. Take a file, and within the spot that I ground there, I'm gonna back drag my file. And that's gonna cut the template here. I found using the back drag method works better than if you use a file as intended, and more so will tear the template. So from there, I'm gonna fold it so that aligns. That's gonna give me a center line on both sides here. Now I'll mark those. And then from there, oh, bring that line down. We're gonna align those. Now, we're gonna get some scissors, cut that out, and then we'll have a square fit there. Got my plate cut here. This is what we're going to be mounting to. This is what's going to be the removable part of it. I got to drop down and go underneath the bumper bar here and then go up. So it's not ideal to just weld the tube like that. So what I'm going to do, I cut a 2-inch piece here that I'm going to weld to the plate. And then I'm going to take the coped side and put it against there and weld it to not only that piece of pipe, but to the plate. But I'm also gonna notch this back so I get a better weld in here, and I'm not having to do this long stick out and try to fill down in that crevice there. So we're gonna cut that back, and it's gonna notch into that piece of plate there. It should work out real nice for what I want. It's gonna be a little bit of leverage on here, so I wanna try to maximize the most amount I can on this plate here to give us the most support. All right, we got our 2-inch stub piece of pipe welded out to the plate. You see I got this vent hole here that's gonna vent out all the tubing. So when I put this piece here, I've got it fit there now. All the rest of the pipe is gonna have to escape the air on the inside when I weld it. So that's gonna be the end where it escapes. Got both the pieces welded out and bolted in. I just took this measurement across here. It's 20.5 inches inside to inside. So I'm gonna take this piece, measure from that inside cope to the inside of the other side. Then we'll take our standoff piece and build it out and around. So I just test fit the piece on the car. I was about 5 inches to the back side of the upright to the trunk lid when it opened. I'm gonna bring that into about 2 inches. That way it has plenty of clearance, and if we have a clamp there, it won't interfere as well. So I've got this measured back 3 inches. on both of them. I'm going to use my template here. I got the square end to utilize for my square cuts, so I have a nice wraparound for that as well. So I got my stub out pieces that are going to come off of the car cut now. I cut some end caps for them as well. Like I said, I welded those, ground those. It's going to match the front of the car. They gave it a really cool look. So I got it fit up on the bench here. I just set the bumper bar across there and then rested the pieces that are going to stub out off of there with the spreader bar that's going to come off of the back that's going to actually support the vertical piece. Put a piece of tape on each end to allow me to put my square in here. So I got both of those fit up real nice, both sides. So I'm ready to go ahead and tack it up. I got the Everlast Power TIG 210 EXT set at 132 amps. We're going to utilize some boiler 70S6 wire. Got some 1/16. Going to go ahead and use that to tack it off with and then weld this thing out. Got the vertical piece welded out. Everything there is welded out. I'm going to make a couple of gussets that's going to go from here and offset back a little. All my weight is going to be supported off of the back of this, so it's going to be pulling on it. So I want to offset it back some. I went ahead and made another wraparound template like I did for the other coat. And this time, I'm going to allow the pipe to push the piece in, and it's actually going to conform to it. And then this is going to give us a good indicator to start with to make one of these fits. So I got that one drawn up and coped really nice. I'm going to just lay it up in there. Now, if you see, I got a center line drawn on the back of that. I'm going to utilize that to transfer the mark to this bottom side. I'm going to use the bottom side of this template here to get the template for the bottom one. So I'm just going to go over how I laid this out. I found this line on the pipe here. That's what I'm going to use for that center line for my stencil. So I went ahead and laid this one out square on the end. Now from where my test piece of pipe touched the intersecting piece of pipe, I used that length to determine how long this piece needed to be. It was 16 7/8 from inside to inside. So from here, I made a mark at 16 7/8, and then that became the inside. If you've seen, I brought it around of this cope here. Now all I gotta do is take an overall length for my second piece, and then I don't have to lay this inside out again. I can just flip my template inside out. I have the overall length. I already have that same center line marked all the way across the pipe in that spot, and should have two perfect opposite fitting pieces. All right, got both pieces fit in there real nice. Go ahead and get the machine turned on, grab my hood, get this thing welded out. Got to get it powder coat in the morning. We got an event this weekend we're going to have this thing at.